the fact that you're not sure why, that's okay, but the fact that your instinct told you, okay, that's what you should have done first, okay? Now, Sandra, the part that you were telling me, b squared minus plus or minus square root of...
It's not.
Oh, it's not a b squared, it's a minus b. I'll fix it right now. And it's not a b squared, it's a minus b, correct? Plus or minus square root. That part is correct, that's the quadratic formula. You just have to be able to tell me the a, the b, and the c part. Now, the fact that they're using a squared plus 2a minus 3, that's the same as saying 1x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0, okay? You with me right there? Yeah. The a value is 1, b value 2, c value. All right. The reason why I'm telling you to do this part real quick, it's called the discriminant. Okay? Check that right off the bat. Okay? And the reason why is, if you get a negative number from that, that means you're going to get a negative number in the square root of the quadratic formula. And can you take square roots of negative numbers? Okay. So if you look at this part, if we plug in the value 2 squared minus 4 times a is 1, c is negative 3. That's going to give us a 4, and a negative is going to be a positive. That's going to be a 12. Everybody agree? That'll give us a 16. That 16 is going to be a perfect square. That means there's going to be 2 solutions, so you can factor this out. Okay? Now, if you use the quadratic formula, you would just, all you need to do is just finish it by plugging in negative 2 plus or minus square root of 16. Does everybody see that this is right here in the square root? Okay. All of it divided by 2 times 1. This is going to give you a negative 2 plus or minus 4, all of it divided by 2. And do you guys understand what are the 2 answers that are going to be? What's one of them? Somebody tell me one of them. One of them is 1. Tell me how you did that first one.
Negative 2 plus 4.
Okay, negative 2 plus 4, and then you divided it by 2. Okay. That gave you a positive 2 on the top. 2 over 2 is 1. Could you tell me the other one, Sandra? What would be the other answer?
Negative 3.
Okay, negative 3, and the way you did it was negative 2 minus 4, all of it divided by 2. That's going to give you a negative 6 over 2, and that's a negative 3. Yeah? So the x-intercepts are positive 1 and negative 3, right? So if you were to factor it, the parentheses then would say a plus 1 and a minus, or no, it should be a minus 1 and a plus 3. And the reason why the answers are a is equal to 1 and a is equal to negative 3, if you look at this parenthesis, a minus 1 equals 0. When you solve it for a, you have to add 1 to both sides, and you'll get a is equal to 1 right here. So there's one answer. The other parentheses, a plus 3, when you set it equal to 0, you have to minus 3 to both sides. And that's this other answer right here. A is equal to negative 3 and a is equal to positive 1. All right, now what I'm trying to get to is what happens when you get stuck here? Or what happens if you get numbers that are fractions, okay? You can still factor. Now I kind of ran into my other problem here. Now let me show you over here on the completing the square. Now, can we factor out number 2? Can we factor it out? See if you guys can factor out number 2. Yeah? You notice that the A value is a 1? When the A value is 1, all you got to do to check is -8 when you would multiply by this would still be a -8. What two numbers multiply to give you -8 but add to give you -4 or -2? Sandra, what do you think? What two numbers multiply to give you -8? -4 and 2. If you look at this problem, A times A is A squared. A times 2 is a 2A. -4 times A is a -4A. Those two add up to give you the middle term, which is the -2A. And -4 times 2 is the -8. Now, the factored form of this, A minus 4 and A plus 2, but the answers are actually what? What are the solutions? What are the roots? What are the zeros? What are the x-intercepts?
4 and 2.
One of the answers is 4. And the other answer is -2. Do you guys see that? Yep. All right, so those two are factorable. All right, let's see if you guys can factor number 3 out. I'm going to erase my work for the number 1 and number 2. So now you're going to try to factor out number 3.
Do you have the calculator?
Okay, and again, you're doing number 3. Try and factor it out. Now, whichever way you choose, so that there's several ways you can do this, okay? Okay, let's go off of that again. What did you try to do? Doesn't mean that you did it wrong, okay?
I did the B squared
Minus 4AC, okay, you check the discriminant, B squared minus 4AC. B squared minus 4AC, everybody agree that's inside of the quadratic formula, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you get stuck right there, you get a negative number, you know you're not going to be able to factor that. You know? Did you get a negative number from that? No? Okay, you got a positive number? Okay, was it a perfect square inside of it? No? Okay, so it's going to be a decimal then? Okay. So you got a decimal value from there. You got 1 squared, right? Oh, not 1 squared, 16 squared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Minus 4 times 1 times -22. 16 squared, can somebody give me that number?
256.
256. And -4 times 1 times -22 is going to be a positive 88, right? Add those up for me real quick.
344.
344. All right. And when you do the square root of 344, you get a what? 18.54. Okay. That's not a perfect square. Yeah. So when if we were to try to do the X box, we wouldn't be able to figure out because they're going to be decimal values. So here's what we're going to do. All right, you check the discriminant. If we're gonna do completing the square, we want to make sure that the a value is a 1. Okay? And then we want to make sure that the c value goes to the other side. Okay? We'll go ahead and move the 22 to the other side. Okay, we're going to move the 22 to the other side. All right? All right, this will give you 1, or just p squared, plus 16p. Leave some space right there, okay? Before you write the equal sign, okay? Because what we're about to do is we're about to do b divided by 2 squared equal to b divided by 2 squared plus 22. Now take a look at where the equal sign is, okay? I moved the negative 22 to the other side. If the a value is not a 1, you have to divide everything by that a value so that it does become 1. Sometimes that makes the problem a little bit more complicated because some of the other values don't simplify into be whole numbers. Okay? All right. Does everybody agree that the b value is 16? So this is really going to be p plus b divided by 2 squared, and these will simplify, okay? Now what's b divided by 2? Well, 16 divided by 2 squared is equal to 16 divided by 2 squared plus 22. 16 divided by 2 is 8. I'm kind of going to run into this other problem over here, but I'll go ahead and take out the discriminant. This is really p plus 8 squared is equal to 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 squared is 64 plus 22. Yeah. And then that'll give us p plus 8 squared is equal to 86. And what's going to happen is p plus 8 squared is equal to 86. What we were trying to do is get the factored form of this. You notice that if I were to solve this equation for the letter p, I'd have to do the square root of both sides to get p plus 8 by itself. We're not going to do that. I'm just going to show you that what we just didn't change the problem, okay? Everybody type in square root of 86 real quick. 9.27. All right. And then let's go ahead and subtract 8 to both sides. We get 1.27. Yeah. And remember, we're going to do a plus or minus here. So one of the answers would have been a positive 1.27. The other answer would have been a negative 9 and a negative 8. Added up together, that would have been a negative 17.27. Okay. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get to this step right here. But we're not going to square root it. Okay? Because once I get to this part here, then I'm going to start to be able to write the equations of the circle, the ellipse, the hyperbola. Okay? All right. Let's see if you guys can go to number 4, see if you can factor it out. We did right now number 3, when we completed the square. I'm going to show you when we did this. Those numbers that we're going to get as decimal values, you guys remember when we checked the discriminant, we were going to get a decimal, but we still had to do a few other things to get that as solutions, right? Look what happens. If I leave that as e plus 8 squared is equal to, what did we say, 86, right? Yeah? If I take away the 86 to both sides, this is going to give me p plus 8 quantity squared minus 86 is equal to 0. This is really y is equal to 1 times x plus 8 quantity squared minus 86. The vertex of this parabola is at -8 comma -86. Parabola did not get stretched out by a factor greater than 1. If it was stretched out, if it shrank or got narrower, that a value would have gotten bigger or smaller, right? So this tells you that the vertex is at -8 comma -86. Parabola is going up. The value of a is 1. This is y is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. Vertex is at h comma k. Yeah. Okay. Now this one over here, do you see on number 4 we factored it pretty easily and quickly? But do you see that the factoring of it doesn't tell me where the vertex is? And it doesn't tell me, I do know that the y-intercept is at 12. Okay. I want you guys to type in this equation into your graphing calculator. But instead of p's, we're going to write 1x squared plus 16x minus 22 is equal to y. Go ahead and type that into your graphing calculator, and we'll check out what that looks like. So go ahead and hit y equals, and let's clear that.
Minus 22?
1x squared. Get out of the square, so plus 16x minus 22. Go ahead and hit the graph of that. Now, my screen, you guys realize it's in increments of 1 on the x and on the y. So you're not going to see the whole graph of it right now. So let's hit zoom fit. Zoom fit. All right, that looks a little bit better. Do you guys see in the screen though, you're only seeing a certain part of the graph, you're not seeing the whole graph completely. But does everybody see right here? Somewhere the vertex is right there. Do me a favor. Go ahead and hit trace. Does everybody agree that the y-intercept should be at -22? Because the equation says 1x squared plus 16x minus 22, the y-intercept, let x equal 0, you get -22 for the y-intercept. Scroll down to where the vertex is. And you'll know when the vertex is, when the y value, you notice my y value is a -66? When that y value drops, and then it starts to go back the other direction, that's where the change happens. Okay, so keep scrolling. All right. Does everybody notice in my picture when I'm zooming, I'm at -5, and then at -5 I start to go back up the other direction. Okay. Now part of this is because the way I'm zoomed in, so I'm going to zoom out of this picture. And I just hit it one time to zoom out. Hit zoom, and I went to number 3. And after you hit enter, you got to hit enter one more time. Now if you keep hitting enter, you're going to keep zooming out, okay? Because you're in that mode right there, okay? If you look at that graph right there, you guys can see the parabola completely, right? Right. Try to trace it again. You guys agree that the vertex is somewhere down here at between -8.29, right there it starts to jump up, and -7.44, it's somewhere in between those two? Well, the vertex is exactly at -8, -86. Now, you can mathematically check where the vertex is by doing x equals -b over 2a. That tells you the x coordinate of the vertex. And what I'm trying to get to here is over here in problem number 4. What if I were to ask you what is the vertex of problem number 4? You don't know right now, right? So we can do a couple things. We can do this. Now, instead of k's, do you guys understand that's the same as saying x squared plus 8x plus 12 equals y? You guys okay right there? Okay. All I did is just change the k's with x's and the 0 with the y for right now. Well, to get the vertex of this parabola, to do it algebraically, I got to do x equals -b over 2a. What numbers represent a and b in this problem? A is 1, and b is 8. Alright, so this would give me x is equal to -8 over 2, which everybody agrees simplifies to be a -4? Yeah. So the vertex is at -4 comma what? Well, to do that, I have to plug in -4 back into the problem for x. And simplify that. Can you guys simplify that for me and see what you think? -4 squared plus 8 times -4 plus 12. That'll give you your y coordinate of the vertex. Alright, so right now you're simplifying to get the y coordinate of them. We were able to factor them out very easily, but some of them gave us decimal numbers that we couldn't factor out. So that's when we had to do completing the square so we could factor. And here's what I need you guys to be able to do. For the rest of these problems, you guys have to be able to give me this of those. I want that vertex form. Because I want you to be able to look at this equation and tell me where is the vertex on it. It's at -4 comma -4. Now, do you guys agree we already proved that it was at -4 comma -4? That all that other work gave me the exact same answer, right? This is what I'm looking for. Can you do that? Okay. So let's practice 5 and 6 together. Okay, so we're gonna do 5, okay? All right, so everybody, I need you guys to try to give me the equation of this parabola in vertex form of problem number 5. When you do that one, I'll give you a minute. That way I can kind of separate everything, because I want to make sure there's a whole point of why we're trying to do this. Once we get this down, when we get to hyperbolas and ellipses, it'll start to make sense, and it'll get way easier. Does anybody need the work for number 4? I'll leave it up there for a minute. So, I need you guys to try to give me the equation in vertex form for number 5. Okay? And don't worry, just see how I did number 4. Okay? Starting to see something here? If you feel that you can handle everything all on the same side, that's fine. Let me show you the quick version then. Does everybody see I didn't move the negative 33 to the other side? Had I moved it though, do you guys agree I'd just add 33 to both sides? Okay. If I leave it there, it's still a negative 33, isn't it? The only thing that you have to keep in mind then is you have to learn to separate it. That's why I wanted you to move it first so you could realize, okay, you're getting these two by themselves, yeah? And in those two, do you guys realize that the b value is 2? 2 divided by 2 is going to give you just r plus 1 squared. Negative 33 plus 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1, okay? And that's going to be a negative 32. Check on your work, Gabby. Go ahead.
If you move the 33 though, it makes it positive, and then if you add the 1, it makes it a 34.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking at right now. Why isn't it coming out to be the same? Let me check something. I'm going to do that on the side over here real quick. R squared plus 2r equals positive 33, yeah? Because I saw that and the work, that was correct. So I should have got the same value over here. This will give me r plus 2 divided by 2 squared equal to 33 plus 2 divided by 2 squared, which is r plus 1 squared is equal to 34, because 33 plus 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1, so that's where the 34 came. And it would be r plus 1 squared minus 34 is equal to y. That looks correct. What's wrong right here then?
Maybe you have to change positive to negative.
Because this should somehow come out to be the same thing. So let's do me a favor. Somewhere I did something wrong right there. Maybe I jumped too quick on that. When I moved the 33, everything came back. When I put it back, I got a negative 34. That means the vertex of this parabola is at negative 1 comma negative 34. Yeah? Let's check it. Let's go into the graphing calculator and check it. Y equals, clear that. And instead of r, it's an x, so x squared plus 2x minus 33. We'll graph that. I'm going to zoom to fit it. Alright, so let's try to trace it now. Oops, we're going the wrong way. No, I'll try zoom standard. See if that looks better. No, that didn't work. Let's try to zoom. Let's zoom out. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Now, I want to show you guys a little trick. Does everybody see? I tried a couple different things here. I'm going to show you a little trick real quick. Everybody watch me real quick. I'm going to hit the zoom button. And you see the first button, the first part says Z box. If you hit enter right there, first thing you got to do is, you see that little plus symbol that's moving around that I'm moving? I need to move that because I'm going to make a window. And I'm going to say, I want you to zoom into this spot only. Okay? Does everybody see I moved it somewhere right here? Right there, I'm going to hit enter once. And now I'm going to go down. And does everybody kind of see a line that I just made right there? Going down. Now I'm going to open it. Don't need to open it that much. And you see I made a window for the bottom of the parabola? I would have to hit enter one more time to zoom that far in. Ready to catch that? Yeah? Was everybody able to do the zoom box on their calculator? Yeah. You see I got a better picture of that where the vertex is right there? Let's go ahead and hit trace now over there. That says -1 and pretty much -34, doesn't it? Because it says -33.99. Okay, let's go to the table of values here. Check that out. Everybody hit second table of values. And -1, there's a coordinate exactly at -1 comma -34. So let's check, what did I do wrong here? Why am I should have been the same number. I can't remember right now, so let's just keep doing this step, move it to the other side. I must have forgotten something. But do you guys agree by moving it to the other side, we did get the right coordinates of the vertex? Somewhere I was trying to teach you a trick and I must have forgotten that trick. Yeah? So let's keep doing it this way. That's kind of, I guess that's why I made you guys do this, so you guys wouldn't mess up. Yeah? All right, try to do number 6. Try to get the equation of it. And then from that equation, you should be able to look at what is the vertex of that parabola. So you see, you guys, I tried to pull a quick one on there and it didn't work out. When I remember that little trick, I'll try to figure out why was I trying to show you that. I'm starting to move a little bit quicker now, but if I'm losing you, stop, okay? In here is going to be the plus b divided by 2 squared. And something that I'm kind of skipping on, but I'm hoping you're catching it, is when you do the plus b divided by 2 squared, you're always going to get this variable and the b divided by 2 in parentheses. Yeah? And what's happening is m squared minus 12m plus b divided by 2, negative 12 divided by 2 is a negative 6. Negative 6 squared is a positive 36. Just real quick, everybody look over here real quick. That means over here, this is a negative 26 plus 36 that I'm assuming, yeah? Okay, I want you to see something. This is the quadratic problem that we're trying to factor out. Two numbers that multiply to give you 36, but add to give you negative 12. You guys see that it's negative 6 and negative 6? This parentheses will always be a perfect square. N minus 6 times n minus 6 will take you back to this. Yeah? Equal to, what's that, 10? Is that right? So you subtract 10 to both sides and you get n minus 6 squared minus 10 equal to 0. And the vertex should be at 6 comma negative 10. Yeah? Do me a favor, type that into the graphing calculator and check it. Is the vertex right around positive 6 comma 10, negative 10? Let's check it. Y equals, so we're going to write m squared, so x squared minus 12x plus 26. Graph that. Now remember, the zooming that we were in was in, we did some special zooming, so if you just hit zoom standard, that'll take you back to your original point. Now if it's not showing, and in this case it's not going to show on mine, I'm going to hit zoom fit as soon as it lets me. Clear that. You guys see these little dots on the far right corner? It's still thinking. Worst case scenario, if you're trying to get this to work, shut it off. Then turn it back on. And hit zoom to fit. I forgot what number it is. 0. So if you hit 0, I hit enter again as it was doing it. It was thinking and graphing, and then I hit enter to make it do something else. So now that's why it's shut down. So I'll do it again. Turn it off. Turn it on. Zoom 0. Right, I'm going to zoom out right there. If I keep tabbing zoom out, it's going to keep zooming out. Okay? I'm going to hit zoom box, and I'm going to zoom in. Start right there. Go down. And right there, hit enter. And now I'm going to trace that. And we're at about 6.38 comma negative 9.85. You guys agree -6 comma -10 is right, pretty much right there? Yep. Now, I want you to remember something. You guys understand the a value on all of these is 1, right? Let's go to one where the a value is nothing. Yep. Okay, the rest of those on that side, you guys can finish those. Let's jump to one that doesn't have the a value in it. Yeah. Let's go to number 15. Now, number 15, there's a couple things that are on it that need to be fixed. Does anybody notice anything on number 15?
B is on the other side.
Yeah, there's a 10b that's on the other side. It should be on the same side that 5b squared is. So can you go ahead and move that term, put it on the correct side? Is this, everybody okay right there? All right, now, we're going to go ahead and complete the square, and we're going to add 21 to both sides. That's going to give us a 5b squared minus 10b equal to a 21. Now let's pause right here. Is everybody okay right there? Does everybody see that the a value is a positive 5? Can't leave it like that. You have to always make sure that the a value becomes 1. Do you have a question, sir? Okay. Here's what you have to do. Everything that's in that equation right now has to be divided by that a value. Okay? All right, does everybody get this? B squared minus 2b equal to 21 over 5? All right. I'm going to leave the 21 over 5 right now like that. I'm not going to put it as a decimal right now. Okay.
Should you?
No, because later on, whatever we get over here, remember we're going to have to add b over 2 squared to the other side. So just wait, because I don't want you to do extra work already, okay? And you guys notice that the b value, the a value is a positive 1. Do you need a test? Or actually, I think they meant for you to come over here. Because that's where the test is. Everybody okay that the a value, we got it as a positive 1 then? All right. So now we're going to do plus b divided by 2 squared. And what you're really going to be able to go right to is you're going to go to b plus b divided by 2 in parentheses and then the square. On the other side, we're going to have a 21 over 5 plus b divided by 2. That's going to be a negative 2 divided by 2 squared. Negative 2 divided by 2 is a negative 1, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's going to give me a v minus 1 squared is equal to 21 over 5. Negative 1, when you square it, you guys agree that's a positive 1?
Yeah.
All right, so here, you guys understand I need to get a common denominator there? Yeah? Okay. So that's v minus 1 squared is equal to, that's going to be a 26 over 5. I'm going to leave it like that. and move it to the other side. So that's b minus 1 squared minus a 26 over 5 equals 0. And negative 26 over 5 is a decimal that's about 5 point something.
5.2.
5.2? Okay. So that means the vertex is at positive 1 comma negative 5.2. Let's check it. Let's type that into the graphing calculator. And just so you know, this is what you're going to type into the graphing calculator to check. Okay? So we're going to type in, turn it on. I'm going to zoom standard, that way I don't get stuck. Oh, that typing nice. Alright, so 5x squared minus 10x minus 21. So I'll graph that, see what pops there. Alright. Let's zoom to fit it. Zoom to fit it. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. I'm still gonna box it. I'm gonna box it right there, go down, and hopefully it'll include it. Alright, that looks a little bit better. Let's trace. You guys see my decimal values are almost right at those numbers that we're talking about? At x equals positive 1 comma negative 25 point something. What would be off if it's at x equals negative 1, then somewhere our vertex formula was off. But do you guys realize that our vertex formula is pretty darn close to it? It's just part of the fact that you're zooming in and out. Yeah. You guys see how you guys can check to see if you're getting there? Yeah? Okay. All right. Any questions then on what you're going to finish working on right now? No? All right. So now, today I taught you guys how to do the completing the square with just the parabola, right? That means the next class, we're going to do completing the square, though, for a circle, an ellipse, and a hyperbola, which means I'm going to have x's and y's at the same time, and I'm going to be completing the square with two things at the same time, okay? So just keep in mind, what we practice right now for one of them, we're going to do simultaneously with two next time, okay? So just finish that one. I want them all in vertex form, though, okay? If you're not sure, come and see me so we can check your steps, though. If you finish that, then you're good to go for today. Are there any questions? No? Okay.